Gather round, gang. Speed. I am speed. Faster than fast. Quicker than quick. I am lightning. Let me start this review off by saying that I am not a car guy. I've got friends who are car guys. My dad was a car guy before the state took his license away, but I myself view motor vehicles as some sort of arcane mix of technology and magic. I don't know how my Scion XA runs, I simply respect that it does. Nevertheless, something tells me that cars are not supposed to do this. Trackmania is a competitive racing game developed by the French studio Nadeo, and published by the even Frencher studio Ubisoft. I have talked in the past about my utter disdain for Ubisoft and all that they stand for, and believe me, we'll talk about it some more, but hear me out, this game's actually pretty good. Most well known for its presence in the speedrunning scene, Trackmania is a highly technical, precision-focused solo racing game. Now, aside from not being a car guy, I'm also not much of a racing game guy. I've played a few of the Need for Speed games, and I had a short but toxic addiction to Dirt Rally 2.0 a few years back, but other than that, it's never been my forte. That was until I stumbled upon this little game, and now I can't go back. I put hundreds of hours into Trackmania in the span of a single month. I sit in front of my TV, eyes bloodshot, counting down the minutes before the next track of the day, scratching my arms and pulling out my hair until it releases. Has all this time with the game made me good at it? Hell no, but I do have a few ATs under my belt, that's author times for the uninitiated, and was one of the first 5 people in my entire state to have a gold medal on this map from the summer campaign. I grinded for, and I'm not exaggerating here, 2 entire days to get this medal. I'm not even gonna deny it, I have a problem, and I need help. Trackmania preys on man's natural urge to go fast. Really, really fast. If you ain't fast, you're last. Now, let me be clear about one thing. I am not a risky driver. I was raised by old people, so being a slow driver runs in my blood. I am a proud speed limit enjoyer. But when I hop on Trackmania, something activates within me. Something deep and primal. I get the feral urge to push the accelerator through the floor. I'm spitting gasoline in the engine like Mad Max, alright? I'm an animal. I think this is in part due to the frankly absurd level of satisfaction that comes from the driving in this game. Every little turn, jump, twist needs a precise angle of approach and exit, and learning this can take you literal hours, but when it all comes together, by God does it feel good. Everything in Trackmania just feels nice, and there's an amazing sense of progression going from someone who has no clue what the hell they're doing to a competent player. You see, physics in Trackmania are entirely deterministic. For those of you who aren't complete dorks, that means that there is zero RNG. The same movements will always, without fail, give you the same results. Essentially, there is no luck factor to be found. If you beat someone's time, it isn't because your car shifted slightly better because the little goblin inside the game's code decided it should, or because your car has different stats that give you any sort of advantage. You just did better than that guy. Every race starts and ends on the exact same playing field. Who wins comes down entirely to skill. An opponent isn't faster than you because of some video game bullshit, he's just superior. A lot of your time in Trackmania will be spent on hunting down the run, the perfect line that stands between you and that precious author medal. You will try for hours upon hours, making small improvements on your approach, taking turns ever so slightly tighter, everything just slightly more precise to get it, and then you'll watch some Norwegian twink beat your time on his first attempt. It's soul-crushing, which is why I find it more fun and healthy on the heart to simply ignore anyone better than me and focus on improving my own skills rather than comparing myself to anyone else. Anybody worse than me is a scrub, and anyone better than me has no life. It's the natural smelly gamer creed, and I fully endorse it. You can get a sense of how well you're doing through the medals awarded. Bronze essentially just means that you've completed the track. Silver tells you that you've completed it without any major glaring mistakes, and gold means you've completed it with minimal mistakes. But gold is not the end. Gold simply means that you've understood the map well enough to get a decent time. If you want true mastery, if you really want to show people that you've got the sauce, you gotta go for those author times. An author medal means that you've beaten the creator of the track at their own game and beaten their best time. These medals are coveted, and they're not easy to earn, unless you're that aforementioned Norwegian twink. Then getting author medals seems to be about as easy as breathing, smug bastard. Trackmania features a large number of track styles and terrain types, so if you're interested in specializing at one particular thing, you can. Each type of terrain comes with its own physics and technical use. There are players who are masters of driving dirt or plastic. There are players who specialize in driving tight turns, drifting, driving at extremely high speeds, and just about everything in between. There's a little something for everyone, and they're all very respectable, except for ice players. Ice players are psychopaths. They smoke crack in between attempts. Do not let professional ice players near your children. Ice is the devil's terrain, and I simply can't condone that sort of lifestyle. If you can't find a track that suits your fancy, which, I mean, how could you not? There's a near infinite number of them. You can also build your own. Building a track yourself is a fine art that I will never understand. I'm more into consuming other people's hard work than producing my own. But if you want to become a master builder, the option is there. Some of the most beloved tracks in the franchise are community designed. Speaking of community, Trackmania has one of the nicest and friendliest there is. I'm not typically a multiplayer player. My crippling social anxiety makes it so that the moment I speak to a stranger in any way, shape, or form, my hands start projectile sweating and shaking, and my only urge in that moment is to run for my life. Makes you wonder why I have a YouTube channel in the first place, but nonetheless, I have never had anything but positive interactions with the people playing online. Everyone is just so friendly and helpful, it brings a tear to my shriveled ducts. It's a community built around friendly competition and mutual respect. There is no trash talk, and nobody's mother is getting made sweet, sensual love to. It's just a game, and that's the kind of community that I can get behind. If you're curious as to why you may have never heard of Trackmania before, that may be because, like me, you live in the land of the free, home of the brave, where Trackmania hasn't got as much traction as it did in Europe. It's a known fact that the desire to speedrun things flows deep inside European blood. It's why the French invented parkour. They wanted to speedrun walking through their cesspit of a country. Personally, I could never be a speedrunner. The 1/16th Cherokee in me prevents it, due to my deep connection with nature. If you have heard of Trackmania before, it's probably either from a virtual video or one of those shitty TikToks that read out Reddit posts over stolen gameplay footage.
With this annoying AI voice.
Speedrunning is a degenerate sport, and while I love it wholeheartedly, high-level competition ain't for me. I lack the necessary mental illnesses to be good at it, but that doesn't mean I can't partake in some casual baby boy competition. Getting gold and a few author times is enough for me, but if you really want to, there's nothing stopping you from going pro, unless you have like social obligations or, friends who care about you. Luckily, I have neither, so I'm gonna keep playing. Finally, I just want to add for the record that having split-screen multiplayer is a full letter grade. I don't know when game devs collectively decided that gamers no longer enjoy sitting next to each other, assumedly because of the smell, but it's not true. Gamers are a deeply closeted group of people, and it used to be that couch co-op was the only way for us to achieve that small thrill of physical intimacy with one another. Therefore, the death of split screen was an act of homophobia, so good on Nadeo for being an ally. Graphically speaking, Trackmania is a very pretty game. There's no denying it. For whatever reason, it's always seemed like racing games are just about a decade ahead of every other genre in terms of graphical fidelity, and Trackmania is no exception. However, I do have to say, Trackmania, while very good to look at, leans into a very boring aesthetic, specifically in the official campaign tracks. Every 3 months, a new season of 25 officially made maps from the developers are released. And if I'm keeping it a $1.50 with you, there's just absolutely nothing going on here that does it for me. It's also clean and polished looking, like any sense of personality has been scrubbed from it. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where he has his corners shaved down and becomes normal. Many years ago, I played Trackmania Turbo, the game that came out before this one, and the aesthetics of that game are just immediately so much more appealing to me. Turbo had personality. It was goofy and a little over the top at times, sure, but it was something. You can't look at this and tell me there isn't infinitely more personality to the design here. All of my complaints go away though when we look at the community-made maps. Holy shit, these look so much better. It kind of boggles my mind that the community is so much better at designing maps than the people actually getting paid to do it. I understand that the developers want to keep keep a universal aesthetic for the official tracks, but why can't we get just a little bit more creativity going on here? Why can't each season have some kind of theme? You could even release decoration blocks for each theme each season. It would make the official campaign more interesting visually and give the player more tools to work with when building their own tracks. I'm not trying to harp on the point, but it really amazes me how Trackmania's community cares about the game far more than the developers seem to. Trackmania has a soundtrack. That's about all I can say about it though, because I muted the music almost instantly. The main menu theme got very old, very fast. I don't know why we've just universally decided that racing games can't have good soundtracks anymore. Long gone are the days of jamming to Avril Lavigne in Burnout, or Red Jumpsuit Apparatus in MX vs. ATV. Alas, the past is behind us, and every day the grass back there looks greener and greener. The ever-marching passing of time continues to take away the things we love. Soon, the world itself will be gray and incorporated, and cheap butt rock will play through loudspeakers throughout the city on your daily commute. Enjoy what you have while you can. However, I present to you a solution. Keeping in theme with the Trackmania community being so insanely cool, there are entire albums worth of fan-made music for the game. I'll be honest, they give 2012 Minecraft parody song vibes at times, but that ain't gonna stop me from enjoying them, and it shouldn't stop you either. These songs are a bop, and once again we have a case where the community outshines the developers. Sound design in Trackmania is very important. Listening to when your car is about to shift gears is an essential skill, as sliding during a gear shift can slightly slow your car down. In a game where records are measured by 1,000th of a second, every little time save helps. So I'm happy to say that Trackmania actually does a pretty good job at letting you know this through the sound design. Granted, mimicking the shifting sound of a car with my mouth is a skill that I managed to master at the age of 4, but credit where it's due. If you're looking at the current time of the video and thinking to yourself, hey, that's a lot of time left, this section is why. As much as I've enjoyed playing Trackmania, it is a very, very flawed game, and it wouldn't be right for me to not disclose them. I hate Ubisoft. One day I'll probably make a video laying out all of the reasons why in greater detail, but Trackmania gives me a very good canvas to paint my grievances upon. Ubisoft, what is this payment model? You're not World of Warcraft. A yearly subscription for a racing game is a downright travesty. I already feel guilty giving you money. Don't make me do it in perpetuity. $60. That's what this game is worth, not $20 a year. I don't even think it would lose you any money. If you charged a flat $60 for the game, that's equivalent to 3 years of subscriptions. What percentage of players are actually playing for 3 years? I'm not a businessman, but I really feel like there can't be that much more money in moving your game to a subscription model. And don't even think about hitting me with the, well, technically this game is free. It isn't. Call the free version of Trackmania what it is, a demo. You get access to a few maps from the current season, and that's about it. That's not a free version, that's a demo. Telling people this game is free is bordering on false advertising to me. Secondly, what the hell is this UI? Why does every Ubisoft game feel like it has a UI built by first-year design students? Why does the play tab take me to a jumbled mess of game modes, tutorials, campaigns that are awkward to navigate, multiplayer, co-op, hot seat, stunt mode? Don't get me started on the stunt mode. Ranked, cup of the day, track of the day, and about a dozen other options. There has to be a better way to navigate this. You may have noticed that out of all of the things that I listed, one of the things I didn't mention was a track browser. That's because somehow in the year of our Lord 2024 AD, Anno Domini, Trackmania doesn't have a built-in track browser. There's a list of featured community maps, but this isn't anywhere near the amount of community maps in the game. If you want a track that's not on here, you have to use an external website. This was outdated design over a decade ago. There is zero excuse for this. It's giving me flashbacks to Battlefield 4. I didn't like it then, and I like it even less now. Let's talk about tutorials. In an extremely skill-based game like Trackmania, a tutorial should be there to teach you the skills that you need to do well. Skills like drifting, air braking, hugging walls, gear management, handling different terrains, and identifying optimal lines are all incredibly important. So when your tutorial looks like this, what is it teaching me? Absolutely nothing. You've just placed me on a short map that doesn't teach me anything. Every technique that I've learned for this game has come from YouTube, and that's just straight up unacceptable. We also have the Trackmania School community maps, which do actually teach you certain techniques. They're not perfect, but they're still way better than the official tutorial. Once again, the community has done an infinitely better job at this. The skill gap between an experienced player and someone just starting out is less of a gap and more like a black hole. Here's me playing against my brother. He sucks shit, but that's not his fault. And not just because he was dropped a lot as a baby, but because the game gives him zero paths to learning its mechanics. Lastly, I want to bring up the treatment of console players. I played the game on console, and when I tell you that this is a straight up downgrade from the PC version, I'm not going nearly as hard as I should be. There are so many features that console players just straight up do not have. There are some things that obviously can't be ported to console, like plugins for example. Though let's be real, a lot of these plugins should really just be default game features. I'm talking about things that would probably take about 2 seconds to port over that for whatever reason simply haven't. Really basic things like, a free cam. These are things that would exist in just about every other racing game, and do exist on the PC version, that just don't on console. Do you know how badly I wanted some kind of really cool King Rat themed skin for my car? If I were on PC, I could have made it easily, but you can't make your own skins on console. And don't get me started on how severely restricted the track editor is. I understand that Trackmania is a primarily PC-focused game, but if you put a game on console, then you should actually bother to make the console version of that game on par with PC. Otherwise, you're just giving people a lesser experience. For my videos, I always like to hear what other people have to say about a game, and provide my own thoughts and feedback to the criticism that other people levy. Though I have a feeling I'm not going to be disagreeing with much here. Weird glitch called Ubisoft Connect. Alright, this one just made me laugh. I don't think I've ever actually met someone that likes Ubisoft Connect. The actual gameplay is nice, but the amount of paywalls is absolutely insane. Okay, to be fair, there's only one paywall. There are no microtransactions or DLC. The only paywall is the $20 a year. It's still shitty, but let's not go overboard with it. This game is amazing. One suggestion, remove the Ubisoft part. I couldn't agree more. It really sucks to see such a good franchise, and honestly a really good game, getting bogged down by just about the worst company on earth. It irks me to no end that they plastered a Ubisoft original all over this game. It's not. It's a Nadeo original. Go away, Ubisoft. Go make another god-awful Far Cry game. At the end of the day, my feelings are mixed. Trackmania is amazing, but it's published by Satan. If you're willing to sell your soul as I have, you will have a great time. But there's something about knowing the evil one is currently $20 richer now because of me that doesn't quite sit right. I've become a part of the problem to play a game that I really like, but then again, this game is fun as hell, so hail Satan, I guess. Thanks for watching, gang. As always, it means the world to me. I've decided to swallow my pride and say that if you enjoyed this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed. Seeing the numbers go up send a shot of dopamine straight into my ADHD-addled brainstem, just below the medulla oblongata and above the spinal cord. Also, if you'd like, you can join our community Discord with the link in the description below. We recently had a gaming night, and it was a blast. We're gonna be having more of those, so why not join the fun? That's all for now, gang. One love. See ya.
Don't know where I've been, you don't know what I've done. Tell me I'm sweet, but I run with the mob. Same energy when I'm blasting your tops. I might be a small dude until I get the switch up. Contagious with the toolkit, the way I spread the place up. Please don't act a fool if you don't keep a couple sticks tucked. Blazing out the roof like we got our early grade done. I'm splitting these wigs and I'm snatching this bitch, and I'm back in the mix. They remember the kid.